people would say everyone has different opinion on the film, and you announce part 2 as the part 1 ended. Now, will you make changes depending on people have told you or seen of the film, that what they've liked, disliked, or you have a script ready that means I'm going to stick my guns out and I'm going to stick with what I have? What is it? How does someone make part 2 when obviously there's going to be a big gap between part 1 and part 2?
Right. I mean, we have a story, so we know what our story is. We'll obviously we'll just have to write and strengthen it a bit and all of that. But I think it's very different from the issues of what part 1 would have had. Part 1 was coming completely fresh off the rack. Like, nobody had any expectations from a sci-fi film. They didn't know what this was. They didn't know what sci-fi mytho was. They don't know what our world was, who Supreme Yaskin was. Nothing, right? So we had to spend a lot of time setting things up. We had that fear also, what if people don't understand? So maybe we spent a little more time setting things up. So all of those things were very specific to part 1, I feel. So once part 2 comes, people are already invested in our world. They're going to come in, even without a trailer, they're going to turn up on the first day. So I know that we have to solve different problems in part 2. Yeah.
Okay, now with the huge amount that the film has made at the box office, and everyone now says Nag Ashwin is a visionary, Nag Ashwin is so and so, they're giving you adjectives and accolades for it. Will Nag Ashwin become a point wherein you might have to take yourself way too seriously to commit part 2?
I don't know. I don't think so, hopefully. But part 2 is the same story that I wrote. So it's not like I'm actually writing something new. So in that sense, I just have to go back to the original core thought that started all of this and always stay true to that. Like, because that was what gave me or the producers or the actors all the energy and the trust to make this film in the first place. So sticking true to that, hopefully just keeping that as a compass, we make part 2 and not get carried away with anything else.
Okay, I'm a big fan of Mahabharata. I think I've read 4 versions of it from 4 different point of views. I've seen Arjun's from Arjun, from Karna, from Draupadi, and from Ashwathama's point of view as well.
Even Duryodhana's.
There's also Duryodhana's point of view as well. Now, do you actually believe that Karna was superior than Arjun? That also has been my point of view for the longest time.
I always found it to be the most exciting sort of a confrontation, because I think the entire Mahabharata was about that confrontation. If you read it, it's always about when is he going to come onto the battlefield, when is Karna going to come onto the battlefield. For him to come on, all these people have to, be vanquished. And then when it came on, it was the battle that the gods were waiting for, so to speak. So, I mean, it wouldn't be that battle if they were not evenly matched. And even reading about their bows, like the Gandiva and Vijaya, that always gives me a huge kick, because the Vijaya is described as something that as long as you hold the Vijaya in your hand, you cannot be defeated.
Wow.
So when you have that bow, and how is Gandiva superior than Vijaya? As long as it's in your hand. The only reason Karna lost was he had to put it down to lift his chariot wheel.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's beautiful. I love that. I love the lore. Yeah.